Yat Shea Moroni Benally and Shen Nashasha Nishlido but Ani Bashin do Tohana Edashache, do Tabaha Edashanala, do yes a total condent Nasha, the Shamato Shayaho, a Kutao, the Nenshle. My name is Moroni Benally, and I am from Sweetwater in the heart of the Navajo Nation. I grew up near my grandfather, Khastin Bagati. I am wearing his necklace today. This necklace reminds me of his life of service that he gave as a medicine man. He served his people in his community. He gave his life to compassion and to generosity. It is because of him and his legacy that I am running for president of the Navajo Nation. My father, Dr. Herbert Benally, and mother, Helen Benally, raised me and my 3 brothers and sisters. My grandfather and uncles were all medicine men. I admired their service. They always put their family and community first. Their concern for those with less than was inspiring. My parents would help the elderly in our community. They often would make me as a young man chop wood and bring in coal for the elders in our community. My parents knew and lived. In high school, my dad would take me along with him to blessing way ceremonies. I would sit up all night long, listening to the prayers and songs and stories. Every morning, I still sing some of these songs to remind me of who I am. Dene. My dad and uncles talked about the state of the Navajo Nation, but mostly how they could help those that needed help. I saw them oftentimes literally give the coats off their backs to complete strangers. I saw this service and wanted to be like them. I wanted to give more than just my coat. I wanted to help our people reach their potential. I went to Stanford and BYU and the University of Washington for my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and my PhD. One summer, I worked with the senior citizens in my community. And it was there I learned of their amazing critical thinking capacities. They told me plainly the effects of colonization. I was deeply changed by their words and their lives. When I finished my master's degree, I started working at the Dene Policy Institute, and I lived in a hogan without running water or electricity in Totlakan. I was soon elected as a chapter official and was appointed to the Navajo Nation Tax Commission. There I saw and worked with many passionate people who wanted to help their nation. But many of the current policies prevented them from fully helping in the ways they wanted to. In one chapter meeting, an elderly woman in tears explained that despite our leaders speaking Navajo, they knew very little of what it meant to be Navajo. She powerfully explained that being Navajo was not yielding to the U.S. government. I was deeply and powerfully moved by her presence. I told her thank you. I realized then that many of our leaders and policymakers did not realize that we were failures at being Navajo. We were failures at being U.S. citizens. We must embrace our failure. It is in that moment that we allow ourselves to think of ideas, alternative ideas of success. I am running for president of the Navajo Nation because we can no longer afford to speak of sovereignty and then immediately yield to the U.S. or other powerful special interests in the Navajo Nation. We can no longer afford to implement policies that do not reflect the values and the concerns and interests of the Navajo people. The time is now for us to say no. The time is now to bring complete and radical change to the way we do things in the Navajo Nation. The time is now to change the destiny of the Navajo Nation. It is time to reclaim our futures and our dreams. I am Moroni Benally, and I am running for president of the Navajo Nation.